Hey guys, Tonic here. A few hours ago, Bethesda updated the Fallout 76 PTS, adding in the revamped Mischief Night event, some changes to legendary crafting, a new best builds camp building system, 2 new locations for daily ops, and a combat rebalance. There's a lot to cover with this update, so let's get right into it. Starting off, let's take a look at Mischief Night. Now, if you're an OG player, you probably remember this event, but if you don't, basically it was an old Halloween seasonal event that used to be at the White Spring Resort, but it had some issues and it was removed years ago and never came back. But now it is coming back with some pretty big changes. So first off, this event will now take place right here on the map. It's no longer at the resort. It's down here in Skyline Valley, and to start the event, you just have to light the pyre. From here, you have to follow the Eyebot and sow mischief in the woods. You have to destroy robots, blow stuff up, and light bonfires along the way. Also, you might notice that every robot is painted. The Mr. Handys look like pumpkins, the Protectrons look like ghosts, and the Assaultrons that you see later on look like skeletons. But every robot you kill, everything that you blow up, and every bonfire that you light will add to that progress bar. And once it's full, you move on to the next area. Now inside the camp, we pretty much have to do the same stuff, but there are some new objectives like raiding trick-or-treat bowls, graffitiing the walls, and forking the lawn. Once that bar is full, it is moved on to another area just up the hill. And again, I just had to do a lot of the same stuff, blowing stuff up, killing robots. It's fun, I actually really like this event, but after you fill that bar for the last time, we then have to destroy the Elite Security Force, a 3-star legendary Assaultron. And lastly, after that, we just have to destroy the Vertibird. It is kind of tanky, but I was doing this by myself, so it wouldn't be that bad if you had a ton of people attacking it. But once that blows up, that completes the event and you're done. It's not a super long event and it's not very hard. Again, I was able to do it solo without much of a struggle. Overall though, I really liked it. It keeps a lot of that original theme of Mischief Night, and I'm pretty excited for the rewards too. After I finished it, I got this cool Bat plushie backpack. Up next, we have a new legendary crafting system, and this one is really interesting, so I'll read a little bit right from the patch notes, and then I'll show how it works. So it says, we have been exploring a new approach to legendary crafting, and we wanted to give you an opportunity to get your hands on it to provide some early feedback. Our intention with the changes mentioned below is to give you a way to have more direct control over the legendary mods that are on your legendary items. We believe that this system will require time and iteration to get it right, so while we're providing this to you to test now, it won't be released to the live game until we believe that it's ready. Also, I will have a link to these patch notes down below so you can read it for yourself if you'd like. But moving on down here, it says your feedback during this PTS period will be critical to how this develops. Please share your thoughts in our Discord server or on the Fallout 76 subreddit. Before we dive into how this version of legendary crafting works, let's introduce you to Legendary Particles, our new crafting component. In this new system, you'll use legendary particles to craft legendary mods and spend legendary modules to swap them onto legendary items. Legendary particles can be obtained by scrapping legendary items at your workbench or trading with players. These legendary particles can also be stored in your scrap stash. We're still evaluating how we want to manage legendary cores moving forward. Now let us explain how this system works. Before you can start swapping legendary mods onto your items, you'll need to obtain your desired mod in one of 2 ways: trading for the mod with another player, or scrapping legendary items with your desired mod on it. Every time you scrap a legendary item, you will obtain legendary particles as well as have a chance to learn one of the legendary mods on that item. After obtaining a mod plan from an item, you can head over to your Tinkerer workbench to craft it by spending legendary particles. Once crafted, you can either trade that mod with another player, or head over to your workbench to swap it onto a legendary item. And down here it says, please note when you swap a legendary mod onto an item, that item becomes character bound, which makes it untradeable and not droppable in the world. Each time you replace a mod on an item, the cost will increase. As a result of this update, we're also relaxing the legendary mod restrictions on weapons. We're excited to see you explore the system and find new exciting mod combinations. So a lot of information there, and when I first read through it, I was pretty confused, but after messing with it a bit, it started to make a lot of sense and I kind of got the hang of it. So for example, I have this Nocturnal Fixer and I really want to change that Nocturnal effect. So I started scrapping weapons that had the effect that I like, and in this menu, you can see that when I go to scrap it, we now get particles, and here's how they look in the inventory menu. But after I scrapped a few weapons, I noticed that I got no mods for the weapons, just particles. So I went back and reread it again just to make sure what I was doing was right, and it says that you can get mods from scrapping, so I scrapped some more of my nicer weapons to hopefully get one, and I got nothing. So then I scrapped some more nicer weapons, and I finally got an anti-armor roll. So it seems like it will take a while to get something from scrapping. I went through a lot of weapons to get this, but once I got it, I went over to the workbench and I was able to apply it right to my weapon. So the Nocturnal Fixer is now an anti-armor fixer with a pretty good roll actually. Now again, you can't trade it or drop it, but it seems a bit better than the legendary crafting that we have now, or gambling at the Rusty Pick. And again, this isn't final. I'm sure that this will change a lot over the next few weeks once they get some more feedback, but overall I do like the idea, and I'm really curious to see what you all think about this. Moving on though, next up we have the new Best Builds camp system, and I think that this is really cool. So it says here that Milepost 0 will also be introducing a new social update called Best Builds. Best Builds is a camp system that allows players to submit, visit, and rate submitted camps. Best Builds will be shared and populated, thought-out wasteland for all players across all adventure mode servers to see. You will be able to visit these amazing creations and enjoy the comforts, design, and unique taste the builder has in store for its visitors. While visiting, if you happen to appreciate the builder's camp, you can show your support by leaving a like. We hope this allows our dedicated player builders an opportunity to show off their creation as well as inspire other players to create and submit their own best builds. So I think this sounds pretty cool. And on the PTS right now, to submit your camp, you have to go into the map and click on it. Then you get this submit button. Then we get this menu here saying that you have to build up your camp, submit your camp as a best build through the camp slots menu in the map, and explore Appalachia and find the best builds to like. Hitting enter, we get this menu, and we have these buttons down here where you can actually add photos of your camp, so you can upload a few of them. And over here, we can also add some tags. But after filling this out, we can submit it. Now, it wasn't working for me. I'm not sure if that's on my end. Maybe it's not fully ready yet, or maybe I just messed something up. I'm not really sure, but I do like the idea of leaving likes at other people's camps. It's kind of neat, and I love camp building, so I think it's pretty cool. Daily Ops is also getting 2 new locations, the Atlantic City Community Center and the Glass Caverns. I played one at the Community Center, and it was neat. It was a pretty cool location for Daily Ops, and it's just cool to get some new places for it. And lastly, there is also a pretty big combat rebalance. So it says here the Milepost 0 update continues the work set out in Skyline Valley to update our combat systems. This patch includes changes to sources of fire and poison damage, as well as how the damage over time or DOT effect works. Fire and poison damage will typically include a DOT effect, with fire damage trending towards shorter durations and higher damage per second DPS, with poison trending towards longer durations and higher overall damage. Then here we have some of the general changes. And going down here, we also have the player weapons. So the following weapons and weapon mods have been updated in accordance with the fire and poison DOT adjustments mentioned above. So we have a long list of weapons right here. Additional weapon updates: increase damage for floater freezer grenades, reduce the damage over time for the cremator's burn to account for it now scaling with weapon damage bonuses, reduce the self-damage dealt to players in firing the kabloom at close range, reduce the recoil and base AP cost for the railway, reduce the fire rate and remove the AP cost reduction for the railway rifle automatic piston receiver, and the headhunter slice damage type has been changed to bleed. Dev note, please give us feedback on how this weapon's bleed damage feels. And below that, we have creature balance. So balance adjustments have been made for the following creatures, and we have a lot of them right here. And below that, we have creature weapons. Weapons used by the following creatures have also been updated. So it looks like a lot of the flame weapons. And going down here to perk changes, we have vaccinated, increases disease resistance from all sources based on your endurance. Thirst Quencher increases action points while not diseased based on your endurance. Iron Stomach increases damage reduction while not diseased based on your endurance. And lastly, we have Natural Resistance, increases your energy, fire, cryo, and poison resistances while not diseased based on your endurance. And then we have the region bosses. The following creatures have had an adjustment to how incoming damage is reduced. This primarily affects the case where VATS critical attacks and damage over time effects would bypass a portion of the intended damage reduction. So the Scorched Beast Queen, Wendigo Colossus, and the Ultrasight Titan. So a lot of stuff here with the combat rebalance, and I'm sorry if that was really boring. I didn't realize how long that was. But that is pretty much going to be it for this video. A lot of stuff happening on the PTS. And again, none of this is final. I'm sure a lot of the stuff here will change over the next few weeks as they start to get some more feedback. But again, that is pretty much going to be it for this one. So I would like to say thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of the channel members: Kevin W, Joe Pervincente, Ed Vale, Shikari, Fallout McFly, Evilman 1979, Radcon, Bad with Salt, Ubi, Ice Cream Manny, Jays the Aussie, I'm Mr. Me Not You, Dr. Calamari, Argent Deer, Shaky Hands Workshop, Loopy, Adam Steinson, Robert Kennard, CRM114, Theodore, Slappy Sauce, Victrix, Anna S, Gold T, Lanthar, Captain Awesome, Heather Henderson, Patrick Ruda, 20th Icefire, Baza Double Frank, Christy Mellon Schwitz. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and have a great day.